What's up, Commanders campers? I'm Bobby Ingham, the wide receivers coach for your Washington Commanders. Our team and coaching staff watch a lot of film every week, especially in the season. It's the key to our success. Today, your Commanders camp staff will be going through this with you on the field, but I wanted to talk to you about two core principles we have on offense. Communication is number one. It is critical to our success. Number two is competition. We compete at the highest level in everything that we do. When running through this film, make sure you pay close attention to all of the details. That is what makes the difference on the field. Remember, attention to detail and learning are not just the keys for your success, but for the success of the entire team. Good luck to you all this fall.
All right, what's up, Flag Star campers? We're going over cover 3 today. So just the beginning of the basics. Now, I want to remind everybody, I played 5 years of college football, played defense, and I swear on everything, I did not know that cover 3 meant 3 safeties. That's why we're calling it cover 3. We have 3 safeties, right? So there'd be a lot of variations of this, but let's just go over this and just look at this real quick, right? One quick thing I want to note. When you're seeing cover 3, right, a couple basics. One is we have 1, 2, 3 safeties, right? The second is in a typical pass rush, we're going to see 4 pass rushers, right? 2 tackles, 2 ends, and they're going to create a pocket, right? And then we have 4 underneath players like this. It's going to look a little bit different when we get to our 6-on-6 format for Flag Star, but this basic format, it's going to be 3 safeties, 4 rushers, and then some underneath players, right? One quick thing I want to say about this. Now, look at the safety's hips. This outside safety, his hips are opening inside and he's dropping like this, right? This safety right here, you can see that he got some width that he needed to get to in the beginning because he was disguising his coverage. The NFL players are really good about disguising their coverage. And now his hips are inside, right? My center safety is dropping straight back, right? Now we see there's a big gain on this play, right? There's a big gain, but this safety does his first job, right? So up here, this safety's job is don't let anything behind him. And your safeties, right, you're opening up inside, you're looking at the quarterback, but you're sinking the whole play. Do not get caught up in what we can, like, get sucked up in the laser beam of watching a play, right? Get back, get deep, keep everything in front of you. You can see that this player, this receiver up top, ran a really good route, right? Now, what's a really good route? The first thing when I'm running a really good route that I want to see is pushing vertical, right? You have to get the defense on their heels, pushing back, pushing vertical. Now you can see he's leaning inside a little bit, and watch this one more step. He fakes up and vertical, right? This safety takes an extra step back, and then he cuts out of bounds. They complete this pass. 2 ways to look at this, right? One way to look at it is they got a 13-yard gain on 1st and 10, and they get a first down. The other way to look at it is this safety kept everything in front of them, lived to see another play.
There's a couple of things we can look at pre-snap to determine the coverage. The first thing we are going to pay attention to when we're trying to identify the coverage pre-snap, we're going to look at the safeties. My college coach used to tell me, you want to know the coverage? Look at the safeties. On the start of the play, they're even. They're nice and even on the same plane. That shows us that it could be like a cover 2, maybe a cover 4 look. But we bring this motion over, and now we can tell that this safety's running downhill. He's rolling down. Whenever you see a rolling safety coming down to the line of scrimmage, we can almost bet that the other safety is going to play the high, and then we can be looking at a possible cover 3 zone here. Another thing we can do to determine what the coverage is pre-snap is pay attention to the corners. I got a corner down here, and if he was anything else than a cover 3, he might be square to the line of scrimmage if it was like a cover 2 or a cover 1. But right now, he is inside tilted. He's looking towards the ball, and his butt is to the sideline. His butt is to the sideline. The corner up here, his butt is to the sideline. Pre-snap, looking at the safeties and looking at the corners, we can tell that this is going to be a cover 3 look. And we can also see that at the start of the play, our corner at the top is bailing. Our corner down here is bailing. If we were to say which corner was bailing more quickly, we can determine that the top corner, the corner at the top, is bailing faster, only because he has a quicker threat. This guy is pressing at his coverage. He's trying to get down the field, so he is getting out there. He's not going to allow it. And if we look at the corner at the bottom, he still has deep third. He's just getting there a little bit more slow because nothing is challenging his deep zone right now. So he's got to hold space until there is something challenging his zone. So if we pay attention to this corner right at the bottom, he has deep third. He's not going to get beat. He sees that this outside route looks like a wheel route. So watch him flip his hips to adjust to the possibility of getting beat deep in his zone. He's going to flip and make sure he's not getting beat. But at the same time, he's paying attention. I can watch him. I can see his eyes looking at the QB. The QB at this point is getting the ball out. He's getting the ball out quick. So this corner adjusts and flies out. We have a rusher from the start. Right now, guys, we have 5 down linemen. And like we learned earlier, most likely there's going to be 4 of these guys coming. So right now it looks like the possibility of either one of these combination of 4 are going to be there. On this particular play, this guy has outside contain on the runs. And if it is a pass, he is going to play the flat. He doesn't do a great job of keeping outside contain because, well, first of all, this is a great motion. We brought in an inside movement. He goes back outside. The inside shows us that now pre-snap, he's thinking, there's not much out here that's going to attack my zone. Maybe this tight end, if he goes out, he doesn't see that. This player has outside contain, and he doesn't do a great job of keeping it. He presses up. We don't know if it's a run or a pass. The play action draws him up the field a little bit here. And then he realizes that it is not a run. So he is trying his best to get outside, but he's already outflanked by this running back. We throw this swing pattern, and he gets outside. Not a great job by keeping outside contained because the runner gets outside of him. And he turns like a short yardage situation. This play should be like throw, catch, tackle. He was able to break the tackle and get upfield, get a couple of yards there.
All right, and like Aaron said, this outside linebacker has contained, right? And he has contained, and here's such a small factor that like leads to the success or failure of a play. If he has contained, right, so he's getting off the ball, he's defending run, now he sees his pass, right? So he needs to get wide. He's one-on-one with this back and this outfield right now. He needs to get wide. What he needs to do is get flat, right? Watch how he comes up as this play goes on, right? He sees it's a pass. He makes the correct read. Look how he gets upfield, and he misses that play, right? So this is what defensive line coaches will always talk about, getting flat, getting flat. If he pursues flat there, he's going to make that play, right? If he pursues flat, it's going to make that play. It's that difference of, 1 to 3 yards that's going to make him miss this play. So when you get in contained, get wide, keep everything inside of you.
Okay, here we go. We've got another cover 3 look. Remember, we can check the safeties. They're not on the same level right here. We have a high safety and a low safety. When we see that, remember, we can almost bet that this high safety is going to play that deep third, while this lower safety is going to be more run support. He's going to fill in this area in the seam, maybe the curl area, so we can pay attention to that. Another thing we can look at is these corners. They're in, remember, butt to the sideline. Butt to the sideline. They're dropping back into that cover 3 look. We have a quicker pass here. But I thought this is a great job by the corner to recognize first of all, he doesn't get beat deep. There's not really a route to threaten his deep zone. So he's getting back when he needs to. And he drives his foot when he sees the ball out. He doesn't make the tackle. It's a good job by the offense making a miss. Just flying out here without your arms is kind of similar to trying to make a one-handed flag pull. Doesn't work out very often. We didn't have a wrap up, and the running back's able to shake him off and get some yardage here. Another thing I want to look at is we have this 5 down front, and we are going to rush 4 most of the time. So one of these players are fake rushing, and they're going to go to the flat. We've identified that as a top player. He's first check and run. There's no run, so he's going to pick up the first guy he sees in his flat zone. And he's not going to let him get out there for free. This is tackle football, not flag, but he is going to get his hands on it and make it hard for him to run that route. He does a good job of bumping him off the route there. All right, here's another 3 look. It's very subtle, but these safeties are on different planes. This corner is butt to the sideline, while this corner at the top is also butt to the sideline. So you're going to see us drop into cover 3 here. Our deepest guys are the corners, the 2 corners, and the 1 high safety. The other safety is playing a little bit down in the low run support or some of the hook curl zone. We don't really have a run threat here because there's no running back. And we see that from the D linemen. They're not even really in run stances. They're in pass rushing stances. So we go through the play, and I just want to watch this bottom corner at the bottom. He does a great job. He knows he's deep third. And it is 3rd and long. He's going all the way back. Watch him drop into his zone. He just gets back there. Making sure none of these routes are going to beat him deep. After a certain while, we get to a point where now I have to figure out what's the biggest threat. He kind of has 2 vertical routes coming at him right now in his zone. So what's the biggest threat? Which one of them are going to potentially make it harder for our whole team. And because he is an outside third defender, he's going to just make sure he picks up this outside third guy. The safety at the top is going to take any type of breaking routes. We see a post here, and the safety ends up picking him up. The play gets broken down because the pocket collapses and the quarterback has to rush out of there. This corner, though, this safety gave up this outside third, and if this big post, if it has enough time, it's open here. It's open because our safety, he did attack it, but he's running full speed. He's waiting, and he gets beat over top in his zone. So a couple things to remember there. Let's make sure we just get back. If this safety, knowing the stick situation, we're just backing up, he wouldn't have to feel like he has to run to this route. Right now he's running to the route instead of getting back. But at the same time, I can tell that the safety can see he's looking at what's going on in the backfield. He knows the quarterback's struggling, so he's going to attack the closest threat right now. So I understand why he's getting there. But if this quarterback were to just somehow able to get away, they probably have a big play going on here. You get the dropped interception. That's fine. Another thing I want to look at while we're talking about it is, hey, we're still sending 4 here, but we have this outside linebacker blitzing. We got 3 linemen rushing. I want to pay attention to the guy right here. He's a contain guy. So his first steps are going outside, making sure he's not giving up contain. If he were to go inside here, he gave up contain. He would have gave a lane for the quarterback to run. The D lineman puts pressure up the middle, and the contain guy, knowing he's contained, he's watching the quarterback, and the quarterback's leaving, and he's doing his job. He's containing. He's making sure that the quarterback's not going to make a play, and when he needs to, he's helping out everybody else on the front line.
All right, so now we're getting into Flagstar, and from the start, we're running cover 3 here. But this is a really good disguise, right, from this defense because they're showing 2 high safeties. And if I was just lining up, I'd say, hey, this looks like cover 2. It's not cover 2, it's cover 3, right? So you can see here, this safety is going to roll down. This safety is going to take deep middle. And then these safeties, just remember for cover 3, sometimes we say cover 3 corner. That's really a safety, right? So in Flagstar, when we run a cover 3, it's going to look like this. 3 safeties deep, 3 under players, right? And these under players, right, this safety that's rolling down from here, he has in the middle. And then these other players functionally turn into outside linebackers. You can see here, they're running a flood concept, right? So they're running a flood concept over here. Flood means they have 3 players, 1, 2, 3, attacking the sideline. And that's a good beater for cover 3 because we only have 1, 2 defenders. So if these receivers are good levels, right, we have a shallow, maybe I'd have my middle be a little bit deeper, and then a deep route, our quarterback should be able to pick this apart, right? What we see here is they complete this pass and get the first down. And I'd say primarily that's because this outside linebacker does what so many outside linebackers do, which is he's getting deep a little bit rather than getting wide, right? He's getting deep rather than getting wide. Remember, his responsibility, probably if you're going to draw it, looks like this on the field, right? So instead of just dropping and looking at the quarterback, he needs to get width out here because these 2 passes, right? This is wide open. And again, we try to get him on the outside. We miss him. They pick up a first down. So I'd say when we're running cover 3, these under players, so important that you get width and guard outside in. All right, so we're looking at another cover 3 here. We're in a goal to go situation. So maybe this is 4th down. Maybe this is a 2-point conversion, right? But we're in cover 3. We have a deep corner. Remember, that's 1 safety, middle high safety, deep corner, and then my under players are playing the front of the end zone here, right? So important, even in a small box, that we have a front and a back. So let's see how this play goes. This backside corner is going to come over to the middle and get this interception, but let's look at it, right? So freeze. We are doing a good job in this defense, right? Here's my safety. He's behind the defenders. Here's my middle safety. He's with this defender. Here's my middle safety. He's hips open. He's in his position. He's eyes to the quarterback. Now he can come help, right? Before we get to his interception, I just want to point this out. My outside backers, right? My under players are playing on the goal line and they're taking away these under routes, right? So this swing is taken. This under route is taken, and it's forcing this quarterback to look back at the end zone and my safety on the backside comes over, makes a big play.
Another thing to note here is this corner does a great job. He makes this pick. He does a good job. First thing he's doing is getting back, identifying anything in his zone. There's no threats to his zone right now. He's playing this outside third. There's nobody there. So with nobody in your zone, you can take a little quick second to just look at the quarterback. He's peeking at the quarterback right now. The quarterback's looking in the middle of the field. That helps him adjust his positioning. He's moving over to help his team, and he was able to read the quarterback, read that route. There's nobody in his zone. He's helping out in the middle, and he's able to get this interception at the goal line.
Yeah, so it's out of his zone, right? This play is technically out of his zone, but it still doesn't count as playing hero ball, right? He's trusting the rest of his defense. If he doesn't trust this outside linebacker to pick up this route, then he doesn't have the freedom to go roam. But because he's trusting his defense, his other teammates are in the right place, now he can go make a play. All right, we can say it 8,000 million times, and we've said it. These are good elite players, right? But don't get beat deep. Don't get beat deep as a safety, right? All these under routes are just temptations. You can see this receiver's behind the safety. He makes this play, right? Our safety right here, his job is just keep dropping back. This receiver, runs a really good route. He almost looks like he's bending in. He comes back out, but that's why we have to hedge ourselves and just keep dropping back, keep dropping back. You can see he's making this drop. His eyes right now, he's getting tempted by this under route, right? So you can see him pump step, right? And just that little pump step in the middle allows our receiver to get 3-4 yards behind us, and that's not going to work out well, right? So when you're dropping as a safety, drop deep, drop deep. The first threat is anything that gets behind you, right? And the other thing you got to think about here is you have to just be ready for receivers to reroute, right? This receiver runs what looks like a post corner, right? So he's running. He's going to go into the middle. And so he's tempted right now to think this middle safety has him, right? But if he runs the post corner and finishes this route, now he's behind us. We're in really dangerous territory.
I think the rule here for this cornerback is, we always say it all the time. Obviously, if there's a vertical route in front of you, you're going to pick him up. But when you're playing cover 3 corner as a corner on the edge, you have to take the deepest route. So if any of these other routes are deep, you have to be as deep as the inside guy. So right now you can tell this inside route, although it does look like an in-breaking route, this cornerback needs to drop back and be as deep as the deepest guy. If that's the case, he'll never get beat deep in his zone.
And keep moving, right? Just keep moving. So for this place, like if we freeze frame this right now, right? It looks like my receiver and my safety are at the same depth, right? But this receiver is running full speed. My safety is flat-footed and he's stopped. So in the rest of this play, he has no chance to catch up, right? And your safety just bail. Okay, bail. And then when there's an under route and something happened in front of you, put your foot in the ground and go make a play. Here's a great rep by this safety, right? Here's a great rep by the safety. He's at good depth. He's bailing. He sees nothing else, and he comes up and makes a play, right? This is a film about football and schemes and strategy, but this is also a reminder to me just about why we train hard and why we train explosive, right? When we're going through drills and we're practicing our breaks, we're gonna practice clean breaks. Watch him just put his foot in the ground right now, right? And come up and attack and make a play. You don't get this kind of explosiveness. You don't get this kind of change of direction by looking up in the middle of the game and trying to do it. Some of you practice. He does a great job breaking on this ball, getting his depth, breaking on the ball, and stopping a hitch just from explosiveness, putting his foot in the ground, making the play.